Fellas, is chivalry dead?
Is anybody else just over this hookup culture? I'm online, I'm trying all these things. What happened to romance?
I think chivalry is dead, guys. Dead.
You should split the bill on a first date. No.
If she feels entitled to the man's money, can he feel entitled to the woman's body?
But there's still men out there who don't open doors for girls when getting into a restaurant, like on a date or something.
If a guy asks you out on a first date but then expects to split the bill with you, is that a deal breaker?
Hell no, no, I'm not doing that. What to do if he's a really nice guy but expects you to pay 50-50?
Chivalry is only dead for the women who didn't appreciate it. They were smashing the world. Kindly subscribe to the channel. That's the only contribution we ask of you. Thank you.
Dudes be pushing 40 and still not treating women right. Grow the fuck up, you're about to die.
Okay, so I'm genuinely curious. Is chivalry actually dead? Like there's no more of the courting, no more dating, getting to know somebody, talking on the phone, like anything like that? It's just unsolicited pics from now on?
I'm not saying you have to go out there and like buy me a Chanel bag. Like $5 flower bouquet from Trader Joe's works just as great. But I think that a lot of these men overlook the little things and don't realize that those little things bring us women so much joy because it's not something that we get on a day-to-day basis, which is crazy.
I'm going to have to disagree with that. Even when these men do these little things, at a certain point, it turns into not doing enough. And to be honest, most girls these days don't even deserve the little things. Not when they're preaching being independent and not needing a man. They just expect these things because they're women, not because they've earned it.
Is chivalry dead, and who killed it?
I think chivalry is dead because women have not rewarded it. Women control like men's behavior, like you said. Like if women didn't open their legs for a dude unless he was chivalrous, men would be chivalrous.
Correct.
Really simple. Because women will open their legs for a dude who's who's acting like a piece of shit, then that's what dudes will do. It's not that complicated.
Probably won't believe this. I mean, I'm still shocked, but there's still men out there who don't open doors for girls when getting into a restaurant, like on a date or something. And there's also men who don't open your car doors. So you get next to an Uber, you open the door, you want to get in, and then he makes you like scoot over so he can literally do zero effort. I mean, am I too old school or you guys just have zero manners?
I thought men and women are the same. We are trying to fight for gender equality, so maybe you should open your own door. I never understood why I would need a man to open a door for me when I can do it myself. I don't need a man to do that for me, thanks. But I have hands. Why do women always expect to get treated like goddesses, but never treat guys like gods and do such things for him? Pretty sure if girls appreciated guys that did stuff like this, rather than chase after toxic guys, more guys would do this. Sometimes I stand there waiting for them to open the door for me, and then they open the door and go in first. I'm really confused on why she's offended, because we're the same now, and that man was just being fair and treating her as an equal. In fact, I think it's quite disrespectful of her for not opening the door for him. That man was probably in his soft guy era. All jokes aside, the saddest part of this is the women in the comments who wants to compete with men. They're so focused on competing with men, not realizing it's only going to make men not be chivalrous if nothing changes. If a woman wants to receive chivalrous acts, she must show you that she's worth it. The times aren't the same anymore. She has to earn her keep.
Splitting the bill on a first date is don't care. Whoever asks the person out first, I feel like should pay. It doesn't matter, boy, girl, whatever. I just think if it's your idea, you ask someone out, you should be paying.
This would make sense if more women ask men out on dates, but that's not the case. The idea that whoever asks on the date should pay would never work out, because women typically never initiate such a thing. They always wait for the guy to make the first move and ask them on dates. So women would never have to pay because they don't ask guys on dates. That's one of the reasons why I think it's important to split the bill.
If a guy asks you out on a first date but then expects to split the bill with you, is that a deal breaker?
Hell no. Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not splitting the bill whatsoever at all. Like, I don't think you should ask me on a date and try to split the bill. You're not my boyfriend. And even if you were my boyfriend, I have to be like, hey, babe, I got it today. But definitely not. No.
You need to earn that.
You have to earn it for sure. Yeah, you have to pay your way. He has to pay his way.
Standing on the train and look at all these men. What happened to giving up your seat for women? No man offered me a seat. Excuse me, are you going to get up?
What?
Are you going to get up?
Are you pregnant?
No.
Are you for equality?
Yes.
Then fuck off.
Best response ever. You can't have the best of both worlds. You wanted equality and you're being treated as equals. Can't just want equality when it suits you.
Why do people think that chivalry is just about basic mutual respect as opposed to a one-way servitude towards women?
Probably because it sounds a little bit selfish to say that you have to have a chivalrous man, but then you're not wanting to serve him in other ways.
Why do people believe that chivalry is dead when chivalry is still expected and practiced?
I believe that it is very hard to find, and so it feels like it's dead, but it should be still practiced, but it's far and few between.
I think women want to do whatever they want, but want men to treat them like with chivalry, but they're not treating their men that way, so they're like not being wise and acting as that to receive that kind of treatment.
Okay, so this is for all of my single over 30 people. Is anybody else just over this hookup culture? I mean, I get it. I'm online, I'm trying all these things, but like, what happened to romance? What happened to, a little bit of chivalry? Whatever happened to all of the nice things that men used to do instead of everyone asking us, what are you doing? Can I come through? Is there any real men out there at all?
This woman cannot be serious. After getting smashed and dashed due to hookup culture, now she wants to worry about romance. Matter of fact, let's do this. What happened to cherishing your body? What happened to having one partner? What happened to having morals and loyalty? You can't just want romance and love when you've already let everybody have a turn, lady. That's not how it works. This is what I call divine punishment. Within time, every woman who used to flock the street will come to their senses. But by that time, it will be too late.
I don't care what anybody says, but a guy should always be paying for dates. I already know the men are going to come in my comments crying and screaming. I don't care. If you're okay with splitting the bill, if you're okay with taking turns paying, if you're okay with being the one that's paying for most of the things, fine. That's on you, girl. But me, There are men out there who are literally paying for full-blown vacations for women, flying them out, paying for every single thing they could ever want, and you're gonna let a man make you split on a first date? Some men are providers and some men aren't. Some men want to give you the world in that aspect, and some men want to do 50-50, and that's fine. That's not what I want. I'm sorry, but if I'm having your baby, if I'm giving birth to a whole ass human and going through everything that I have to do for that, I am not doing 50-50. It is not a crazy ass bitch. There are so many men out there who do it, trust me. And if a guy is asking you on a date and not paying, stop. You'll never hear from me again.
First date kind of crazy though, because you don't really know the person enough to pay for them. But after that, it makes sense. I did this before with a man, and not anymore. Are you willing to jump, roll, do a backflip, and be submissive? That's the price those women pay for those trips and lavish lifestyle. If not, enjoy your single life. And some of these men paying for everything is the reason you'll turn around and pick the bear. Some men who do everything for you may feel like they own you. Disagree. In this society, we all want to be equal, so it should be where both sides do that. Yes, sometimes I think one side should treat them, but I don't think it should be expected. Going on dates and having a man's child are two different things, but let's break it down. To create a baby, it requires the help of the man and the woman. That's 50-50 right there. because both genders fulfilled their roles. If procreation is 50-50, why do they have such a big issue going 50-50 on everything else? These women feel so entitled it would take a decade to cure that illness. Matter of fact, I take that back. It's already been a century since they fought for equality, and they're still doing the same jobs.
What to do if he's a really nice guy but expects you to pay 50-50? Personally, to me, that seems very fucking reasonable. I am not looking for someone to take care of me. I don't equate that someone paying for me means that they care about me and they love me. I am a grown-ass woman. I understand that dating is expensive, that I want a partnership, I want an equal, and what does that mean? That means that equal is that we both fucking participate and put into this. Now, obviously, if the other person is making 10 times your salary and you are struggling, then of course you can express that. Hey, I don't have the financial means to be able to do this. I apologize. But I don't think because a man is a good person, but because he wants you to split 50-50 that you should walk away. That doesn't make you feel like a friend, because they should also be showing up in other ways to make you feel a lot more reciprocated, loved, and adored. And if the only way that you see it as being a friendship versus romantic is by the financial component, well, then that is something where we have a little bit more work to do to figure out where the fuck did you learn that?
Sometimes he pay fully, sometimes I pay fully, and sometimes we collectively pay. But not really. 50-50 sharp, always. Why is it a big deal? If I am expected to do my hair and makeup, then I expect him to cover the first date. I'm in an all-females Facebook group, and the amount of them that refuse 50-50 is mind-blowing to me. We just do. Sometimes he pays, and sometimes I do. Because we don't want the awkward splitting the bill, but a realistic that dating is hella expensive. I love a take-turns relationship. I will never be in a Venmo me half relationship. We will take care of each other and take turns. This is hilarious because the ones who has a big issue splitting the bill are the ones that aren't getting married. They're the ones that's broke and just wants a man to leech off of. I honestly believe these women are looking for a sugar daddy. If she likes everything about the guy, except that he doesn't pay for her meal, she's not looking for partnership. Leeches just wants to leech until there's nothing left to suck on.
Fellas, is chivalry dead? I was in a laundry room and I went to go pick up my clothes from the dryers. Now this morning, my husband helped me before he left, and we had 3 baskets and he brought everything downstairs. But my husband's now out and he's hanging out with the grandkids. And so I go back to pick up my laundry. There's a man there, and I have 3 baskets. I take the first basket down. He's standing right by the door, and he doesn't even open the door for me. Matter of fact, he didn't even open the door for me when I was coming in. I had to open it with a key, and he just stood right there. So strange, right? I take the first basket up. I come back down. I have 2 baskets. I put them on top of each other, and I'm carrying the baskets. Now, I jimmied the door before I came in to keep it open so that I could just, use my hip to open the door and swing it open. But if I tell you this man didn't even raise an eyebrow, he just had his head down on his phone, which I found strange anyway, because typically you drop your stuff in the laundry room and you leave. You don't just kind of hang out. Maybe he was doing a quick dry. I don't know. I don't care. But he didn't even raise an eyebrow. He didn't ask me if I needed any help. He didn't even open the door. I know he saw me. I'm almost 6 feet tall and I walked right past him. There's no way you cannot see me. But it was just so strange to me. So fellas, is chivalry dead? Would you have offered to help a lady if you saw her in that situation? Let me know.
Okay, girly pops, I have aggregated some savage responses to when he asks to split the bill on a date that he asked you out on. First up, we have, ooh, no problem. I'm happy to keep it just friends. I actually wasn't feeling it either. That one should get his attention, Especially if you feel like you add it like, oh, we're on the same team. Like, oh, yes, oh my God, totally. I definitely think we should keep it just friends. I wasn't really feeling a vibe either. Number 2 requires just a little bit more acting. You have to be a little caught off guard. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize you needed help with this. Yes, of course, babe. Let's split it. Number 3 is a real flex if you have the money. You just simply lock eyes and you just say, yeah, I don't split. I'll just pay it. Number 4 is my personal favorite. Ladies, get ready for the Oscar performance. You are going to look up and go, oh my God, I've never actually been asked to pay on a first date. This is crazy. Oh my God. Actually, this is kind of exciting. The group chat is gonna love this. I think all 4 of those will really humble them quickly. Let me know if you want more savage responses in the comments.
So instead of paying for the food that she shoved down her throat, she came up with shaming responses to try and shame men. She feels entitled to the fact that he should pay for her meals because she's a woman. In that case, is it okay for him to feel entitled to her body afterwards? When these women are speaking about giving dating tips, you should really pay attention to their fingers. That will explain why they're still roaming the streets, trying to get free meals from guys.
I think chivalry is dead, guys. Dead. From old-fashioned, the taxi drivers used to help people who've got cases. They just lifted up his bill. And I was struggling. I was like, I got in, I was like, oh, so you don't help people with cases anymore? He's like, oh, well, no, not unless they're old. He was like, you look very able and strong. So, well, thank you. I've been working on my muscles.
Who should pay on the first date in your opinion?
Yeah, of course, the man. That's easy. The second one, I would say as a joke, hey, I paid for the first one. Come on.
If they keep paying and paying and paying.
Well, I wouldn't allow it. No. Like, I have my own money.
I think it's also good to just split the bill because it saves me money and the women want to pay.
Have you ever sent a woman a ticket?
Yeah, of course.
What was the smallest amount?
I think 5 or 10 euros maybe.
Would you ever pay for the guy?
Yeah, for sure.
On the first date?
No. Well, not on the first date. No.
If she likes you, then she'll pay for the second date.
Both of you or for herself?
Of both, of course.
Both.
Yeah, of course.
If the man has to keep paying and paying for every date, that woman doesn't care about him enough to reciprocate the energy. Honestly, that relationship will not last very long. Women in the comments are attacking these men for knowing their worth, while at the same time showing what double standards in gender equality means.
Here's the other part of that deal, guys. You are paying for dinner. I don't know what the fuck is going on right now. People tell me all the time, well, Sarah, chivalry is dead. Well, it was murdered, I think, actually, and we need to launch an investigation because I don't know who did it. I think it was the Dutch, but I can't prove it.
This is a hopeful dating post when it comes to my girlies. Chivalry is not dead, I promise you. I just went out on a date with a guy. We did not get drinks. We got coffee. We took my dog for a walk. It was one of the best dates I've been on. He was attractive. It was fun. He stood on the outside of the walkway. He was very gentlemanlike. Chivalry is not dead, so don't give up. Also, always remember that who you attract is who you are. So if you're attracting shitty men, most likely it's because, unfortunately, you have shitty thoughts about yourself as a female. So chivalry is not dead. Heal. You should always be healing.
Chivalry is so dead. What makes you say that? Because every time I go on a date, there are literally 0 guys that know how to do it. What do you mean? Open my door? Pull my chair out? Pay the bill? The sidewalk thing? You know what I mean. Well, yeah, I do know what you mean, but I think you're just looking at chivalry the wrong way. Huh? Those things you mentioned are great examples of chivalrous actions, but chivalry isn't a checklist. It's a duty and an energy. I'm confused. See, if you go into a date with a list of items, and you just find yourself testing him on whether or not he performs them, then you aren't actually connecting with him or paying attention to what matters. What matters is that I feel taken care of. Right, but you aren't testing that. Because his version of taking care of you might be different from your image of it. Maybe he held open the restaurant door, but not the car door. Maybe he was never taught the sidewalk thing. Maybe he didn't pull out your chair, but he made sure you were comfortable at the table. He might not be doing your ideal version of what you call chivalry, but he's still trying to take care of you. And I think you're probably missing out on some great men by rushing to judgment. Decent point. What are you doing? Deleting my chivalry list? You actually had a list? Yeah.
This is a great example of why men have stopped with the chivalrous acts. They don't even appreciate the small things. It's about what they can get. But chivalry is not men serving women. It's about being kind, polite, and honest. And if we go further back, chivalry is a code about knights and their behavior in combat and at court. It never had anything to do with dating. But since they want to play this game, another word for chivalry is called patriarchy, and women killed it.